Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to Guy Complains About His Social Life. Um, I'm not getting any younger, and I think it's a very common feeling that a lot of people have. And there's a lot of things that I complain about getting older. Like I've suddenly be getting back pain after I play pickleball for 4 hours. I'm not as fast as I used to be. I don't have the structure that I used to, so I have to take more accountability for my life. And despite having more freedom, I still feel like I'm incredibly behind, and that I miss being younger. I miss my friends. I miss the friends that honestly I feel like didn't treat me particularly well, and I miss the team that I never particularly cared for. And even if I try to live a life with no regrets, I still feel full of them for all the things that are outside of my control, and I did as good as I could at the time, and I'll never become at peace with that. Or I could talk about everything else happening around me. And the most notable one is how everyone and their mom is getting into a relationship. Or you're starting to see things through a new lens, or you have a greater understanding of your family dynamics, and it's kind of scary to realize, the thing which you thought was immovable and unbreakable is actually a lot more fluid than you remember it. And that, among other things, I got a front row seat on when I went to a wedding, but of a strong stance that you keep the family matters within the family. And frankly, wedding was awesome. My sister got wed, which is to me is crazy. There's a fat age gap between me and my sister, so I was just like, wow, my sister got married, and there's this new guy in our family. Not really a new guy. I think I've known this guy since I was around in middle school, which is about when my sister went off to college, and it's just weird because like he appears if you look up your family household, he's just under our name, which is like, whoa, that's crazy. And you got to meet a whole lot of his family, and like, honestly, he's a pretty cool guy. Just an amazing dude. And I had 10 out of 10 no notes. And my sister is other one is pretty solid with her guy, and honestly, he's a pretty cool dude. Also, another amazing dude. Just like sisters have impeccable taste in men, so I don't get to tell that a sob story about like some homegirl or something. But besides that, my friends are getting into relationships. Like you go off to college, and your friends that you'd have to beg to come and hang out are now like dating women, and as much as like that's amazing for them, and I want to be happy for them, they still shit on me, and it's only gotten worse because it's just been made abundantly clear to me that in my pursuit of being my authentic self and wanting to make conversations interesting, I has come in the price of myself and my own reputation, where I am the last person that my friends would want to be associated with. I'm the last person that would want to be a representation of them to their girlfriend. And it's that feeling of when you know you're putting on a performance. Maybe it's for an interview, maybe it's for some research, something you want, a certain group of friends that you want to appease, a coach, a tryout, etc. But I've been very used to putting on performances, and that's for coaching staff. And honestly, it wasn't really even a performance. Like I sincerely wanted to be good at things. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to put myself in environments that would keep me accountable. I wanted to be a hard worker. I wanted to improve, and a lot of it's hard to make up showing up every single day and pushing yourself through. I think I had almost 15-hour days, and it's also hard to ignore the support group that brought me to that stance, and not only having support but also accepting and taking the support. It's hard to fake that because I didn't. And what mattered to me more than just showing up in words was showing up in actions. And at least to me, I felt like I never truly like fell short of showing up in actions to my friends, or at least I never did it unreasonably. But at least how that reflected in my behavior and the viewpoints that people had on me, it's just like was really, I don't want to say surprising, but it was unsettling to like finally get that like clear notice that you are like last on the list, that your friends don't see you as someone who they want to represent to them. Like I felt like I was just entertainment, and it was just nice to like have that friend on the side, but like I'd slowly like been brought to my attention that there's just more hate on me, I guess, across my friends, or that like you're not the guy you ever run to when it comes to advice, or you want to have like a serious conversation. Like I'm just the guy you have fun with, or I'm just one of the things that really kind of got spit in my face was I was the friend that who's you're friends with just for the sake of the friend group. Like it's just weird if I'm not there, I guess, and that hurts. And I always tell myself it's never that serious. Like people come and go, but man, I've known these people since like middle school, and that hurts. And that's all I can really say about that. And fortunately, despite that, I've been told by some people like I mattered in their lives, and that's a really reassuring feeling. Men's Mental Health Month, it's officially over, so don't care about the men in your life anymore. Uh, but yeah, that's alarming. And the other thing is like I've never been particularly close with like my sisters. There's always been like significantly older than me, just a part of different lives, different social circles, and I'm not a particularly sensitive person. This is honestly entirely of my own doing, but I'm just not particularly empathetic. I was never big on gossip growing up. I was never big on capturing memories and moments, and I was really insensitive to my family, as like all like middle school boys were. But these were during very developmental periods of my sisters' lives where they were sensitive and they did care about these things and they started to care about politics and life, and things were different, and I didn't. So there was just always this rift of understanding between like my sisters and me, and honestly there still is. I'm still in like a cultural bubble where the people express themselves in a way which is not particularly savory or PC, and which both of my sisters went to places in which they did get really well media trained, and I still am well media trained, but behind closed doors I am not, and that's resulted in me having some dissenting opinions of expression in which are make me difficult to conversate with. And that's not limited to my friends. It honestly kind of sucks. I just wish that like people saw me in a better light, but you also have to show them a better light. And there was one good story that I had with a previous girlfriend of mine where I was driving home every single weekend. I was doing tons of homework, which I love talking about computer science. I love learning, but don't underestimate it. It is a significant workload if you want to do well in those classes. And to me, I was putting all this effort into the relationship that she couldn't see. And even when we were together, I'm super keen on acts of service. And I always said it was something that made me happy, but honestly, that was a lie. I'm like, I do it because it makes me happy to see her happy, but that doesn't mean that I'm like super overjoyed to be doing it. And she told me like, oh, I feel like we're like disconnecting, we're falling apart. I feel like you don't care about me, and I'm like, that's just not true. I put all this effort in, and when you say that in a very objective sense, it's hard to argue with that, but that doesn't dismay the feelings that she had, and that's true with all of my friends. I have this super strong feeling where I have my own life that I want to live and lead, but I still make these sacrifices to hang out with my friends. And to me, it's a very intentional effort to show up for people and to be there and to support them and to try to lighten the mood or like be authentic while also being someone who like is still the same around them, who hasn't really changed, who still accepts them for who they are and supports them unconditionally. And sometimes that support comes in the form of accountability. And well, you do all this effort towards trying to present yourself the right way, and that's the not really your authentic self, but it's the person that you want to be, and you still get smashed in the face for it, and that hurts. So yeah. And I think all of this would have bothered me like a much more if I didn't have other friends who validated that at least I could be meaningful to them, which is something which is valuable for like any man. Like I don't think you could ever like look at someone and be like, oh, this person, they don't want to be valuable to anyone. They don't want to be purposeful. They don't want to contribute to society. I'm like, that sucks. It's a terrible feeling. And it was weird to feel like I was at the bottom of the list. And I was kind of down in the dumps about that a little bit because I'm like, you've been around this person for so long and you want to support them and see them succeed. And, getting into a relationship is supposedly a part of that success. You're not only getting validated that the friend that you have is worthy in the eyes of the opposing sex, but who's completely unrelated to them, by the way, like doesn't really know them and is willing to get to know them and then has continued to choose them again and again and again. But also that particular friend is, climbing up the social ladder. There's just this inherent part of relationships in which puts you in like a different ranking. And the same thing goes for marriage, which is something which my sister was never particularly keen on for a very long time, despite being with this person for a very long time. And that suddenly just happened. So you're seeing that like the dynamics are shifting. Like, of course, you're going to put your husband in developing your branch of the family or your new family even as a higher priority than anything else. And even if your family is going to continue to be the two, things are going to change, and you can very much feel that. And this doesn't really change for me because I've been particularly disconnected from my sister due to the age gap, but at least among my friends, it's like you're starting to feel your homie is online less, you're hanging out, he's on his phone, and He's got the job too, and the priorities have shifted. Both of my friends just both. I have a core friend group of 5 people, and 2 out of 5 of them got a girlfriend and an internship in the same, like, I guess, semester time span. This guy's been with his girl for like a year now, going on like a year and 2 months, and then the other one like recently got a girlfriend this summer. But both of them got the internship this summer. So like now you're really feeling that disconnect with your friends, or like they're simulating the job girlfriend combo, and you don't really see them much, and that's different because I used to be the guy with the girlfriend, and I still made time with for my friends. So it's different, but I wasn't particularly good about that either. But still, I didn't have the job at the same time, so still different. And you feel yourself like go lower on the priority ranking. Like the guys you used to like hop on the game with every time after school, the guys you used to like go out with just to get food randomly, like those guys are changing. And I don't want to say it hurts like, oh, I lost a girlfriend, but like you can feel yourself deteriorating on the ranking. And maybe that was always the point, right? One of the things I'd say my clubs is the whole point of the club, the organization, is to no longer need it anymore, because it was a way to gain social mobility and resume experience in a pseudo environment before you actually got the job experience, before you got the job. So the whole point was to help people get there. And maybe that was my purpose as a friend, is to help people get to their relationship point, and I was just the example of what not to do. And you know, I was always just the guy who like you discard once you get in a relationship, which like doesn't feel good. You know, we're still hanging out as friends. It's not like you just cut each other off. So it's not the end of the world, but it does kind of sting when someone tells you like, oh, you're the last person I want to introduce my girlfriend. And the reason I bring this up is because July 4th, they offered for us to meet their girlfriends. Like it was some big trophy, and they offered it to the whole group chat, and now we're gonna go. Maybe not. I don't know. My family is planning, but that was, I don't know. It was weird to me. I'm like, they felt like they really needed to be really solid in the relationship before they even had a chance to meet me, and for me to like tarnish their name or something. So like that sucked. But upside is that another one of my friends, I played video games with him and his girlfriend and a few other friends, and I was told that it was favorably. And when this guy got into a relationship, he told me that it was like I was like the first person that he wanted to introduce to his girlfriend, and that was a very validating moment for me because I really enjoy this person's energy in particular. I think of them as a very good friend, very close friend, like my top 3. My top 3. And this is coming at a time where a few other of my friends, my really close friends in my college, I don't really talk to them much over the summer, and one of them told me explicitly that they didn't want to spend time with me anymore, and I'm like, oh, that made me sad. And they were like, oh, nothing's going to change in between us, but the social status symbol we had to give up, and that was like the explicit thing they wanted to pull from us. And I'm like, that does change things. Like I left the club leadership, and I basically left the entire friend group. Like that's just what that means. And it's the same structure, that if you meet people through the origin, you can still maintain the relationship through the origin, but the visibility, the accountability causes you to wane. And I'd seen it before, and it's happening again. So at this time where I feel like I was losing friends again, I went through a big cycle of losing my core friend group. That changed. And to hear from this friend I haven't seen, he lives on an island far away from the States. Not really. It was very validating. And that's just my commentary about it. I'm like, this stuff sucks, and it's a part of life. You have a certain purpose, maybe a point of being in people's lives, and you know, that's just how it is. And that's something that you deal with as you grow older, and you have to start to carve your own story and be your own person. And having less time with your friends gives you the space to grow and become your own person. And being happy being alone is, well, at least being happy with having time with yourself. I think humans are inherently social creatures. We need time with other people. And for me, I've been trying to spend more time with family, being more intentional about reaching out to people, booking time in advance, really using my calendar to its advantage, and also investing in my own future. It's all part of this whole pursuit. But until then, well, that's my life. I'm not getting any younger. I'm still single, and my friends are going up in the world, and I am. And because people are climbing their social rankings, you are decreasing. And it's not truly a zero-sum game, but yeah. Things are changing, and I'm entering that phase of my life. I don't know if people have heard of it, but when you go through elementary, middle, high school, you're going through primary education. And then when you go into college, this is when people are trying to get girlfriends. This is when people are starting to get married. Some people of my sister's friends, they got married right away out of high school. But then, well, once people start getting married, people start making families. And at the same time that some people are getting married, the next generation is dying. I'm very thankful, very grateful for the time that I have with my family. So, sometimes you'll see the things that they'll be like, oh, the same story that you hear 100,000 times from your dad is so boring. It feels like a punishment until they die. But that's a very cryptic way to look at life. And while I do wish to spend time with my family, this is also a crucial time where your money is the most valuable if you invest it, and so is the habits that you're building and the life that you're building. And I can't spend every waking moment with my family and have the room to grow. And that's something which you shouldn't feel apologetic for. So that's about it. I'm so far away from the time where my family will be lower on the social ranking, like my own family, than the family that I was born with, I guess. But I'm so far away from like never seeing my homies again. But you're already starting to feel the disconnect, and it's only a matter of time before the rest of the friend group also gets girlfriends, and that's part of life. So things are changing. Okay, bye.